In today's video, I am here to share with you guys all of the books that I read in February. Normally, I split up my wrap-up videos, so I have one video talking about all my very favorite books and another video talking about the lower rated books that I read within a month. In February, I did not read as many books as usual, so I don't really have enough to justify two separate videos, as well as there definitely was not anything that I really strongly disliked. Everything was a 3-star or higher in February, so that's awesome. Let's go ahead and start this video off with my #1 favorite book that I read in February. Surprisingly, that book is actually a nonfiction book, and it is The Perfection Trap: Embracing the Power of Good Enough by 𝚲𝙾𝙽𝙽𝙴𝙲𝚃. I related to this book so much. I felt like it called out a lot of my perfectionist tendencies that I have, and really helped me see that spending so much time on trying to make everything perfect does not inherently lead to more success, does not mean that I will suddenly wake up and feel like everything that I've done is enough, and it's like a losing game. You're trying to achieve perfection, and it's something that you will never achieve. And one quote that I wrote down from this book, it goes as follows: "The answer to that deeper question, am I enough, is always over the horizon. Just like the horizon, it recedes as we approach." So the closer and closer you get to that goal post that you're trying to hit, you never achieve it because it always is moving out. It totally hit me when I read it. I see myself in it. It has so much different, new, fresh insight in it that I have not already seen a million times elsewhere. So it's one of those nonfiction books that really stands out to me because it's really providing a lot of new information, very helpful, very insightful. Highly recommend you guys read this one if you consider yourself an overachiever, a perfectionist, even to some extent a people pleaser who struggles with saying no. This book is really, really helpful, and I think you will as well get a lot of value from it. The next favorite book I read in February is Cards on the Table by Agatha Christie, which is the 15th book in the Hercule Poirot series. This is a 5-star Agatha Christie book for me. I have been having so many amazing 5-star Agatha Christie books this year. I'm just having so much luck, and Cards on the Table was phenomenal. Okay, I will say, to get the most out of this book, I really think that you need to be quite familiar with a lot of her backlist already, because what makes this book so fun, the case in this book is being worked on by 4 of Agatha Christie's different sleuths that she writes about. It's like a big giant crossover episode, and it was so much fun. I loved seeing all the different methods that these detectives have. In one of them, so Ariadne Oliver, she is a mystery fiction writer, and to me, that character is like a self-insertion of Agatha Christie. And so I really am like paying attention to everything that character says because I feel like it's Agatha Christie herself talking. So many last-minute plot twists that I was shocked. Cards on the Table definitely 1000% ranks in my top Agatha Christie books of all time. Like, one day, you guys, I will do a ranking. I really want to wait though until I read all the Poirot books, and then I can recommend you guys, like, here's the top 10 that you guys should focus on reading. But this one definitely is going to be in the top 3. It was phenomenal. The next book I read is Looker by Laura Sims. I only ended up rating that book 2 stars. So amend whatever I said in the beginning about everything that I read this month being 3 stars and higher. This one was a 2-star. I did not like it. And if you want to know more about it, then you can check out my Reading My TBR Down to Zero vlog. I will leave it linked up in the cards. I was very excited for this one because I have loved other books by this author, but this one just did not do it for me. The next book I read is The Good Enough Job: Reclaiming Life from Work by Simon Stoltzoff. This is another one. I rated this book 5 stars. You can clearly see what kind of mindset I have been in. Just really feeling challenged at work. If you guys are working jobs where you feel very overworked, you feel burnt out, you feel like you're not being seen or heard or appreciated, and you're tired and fed up, I think that you as well will get a lot of value from this one. I work a corporate job. I am a fully remote worker, and it's challenging. Books like this have really been helping me. They've really been helping me change some of these thought patterns in my brain that have been ingrained in me from childhood. We just live to work, you know? And I don't want to be like that anymore. I don't want to live to work. The next book I read is Mislaid in Parts Half Known by 𝚲𝙾𝙽𝙽 𝚲𝚃, which is the 9th book in the Wayward Children series. This was another 5-star. I've had so many 5 stars. Honestly, in 2024, I've had so many 5-star books. I really like this one. I can see how it is ramping up to this conclusion. I can see where the series is going, and I really like it. I feel like it's going to wrap up very, very nicely and in a very satisfying way. This is one of those series where I feel like it just helps me escape whatever troubles or stress that I am in at the moment. And I just am living with these characters. I'm living in this world. It's like this fantasy life that I get to live out. I love them. I love the series so much. The next book I read is another nonfiction, and that is Quit: The Power of Knowing When to Walk Away by Annie Duke. This was another 5-star book. I loved it. This book was deeply enlightening. It was so fresh and like different. Again, like I love that this book gave so much new information that I feel like I have not read before, I have not heard from before. It gave me so many new things to think about and digest. Success does not lie in sticking to things, but in sticking to the right things and quitting the rest. I love that quote. That quote alone is so impactful to me. It gives me so much to think about and reframe so many of the things that I've experienced in my life that I've stuck around for, like bad jobs, bad relationships that weren't adding anything to my life anymore. And there being this horrible negative connotation around the word quit, where we feel shame and failure, like we're giving up if we choose to walk away from something. But I love that quote. Success does not lie in sticking to things, but in sticking to the right things and quitting the rest. And I am so at that point in my life where I really want to just narrow down to the things that are serving me, bringing me joy, bringing me value, and adding like these positive influences in my life. And I am stripping out the rest. I want to get off the social medias that aren't bringing anything to me, and every time I get on there, I feel stressed out. I don't need that in my life. I want to stop reading the books that are making me angry, getting my heart rate up, and making my muscles just tense up because I'm so having such a terrible experience with them. I don't need that in my life. I love this one. I think that this book is amazing. It was so valuable, and it's another one that I want to recommend to you guys. I think that so many people should read this one. The next book I read is Death in the Clouds, which is another Poirot book. It's the 12th book in the series. This one, to me, it was enjoyable. It was slightly different in that the murder in this book takes place on an airplane, which is a little bit different. It was definitely a skippable book in the Poirot series. It's not super memorable. Like, I don't see myself remembering this one in the long term. So this one to me was only a 3-star. The next book I read is The Art of Liriano on Selling Books and Reading Books in the 21st Century by Josh Cook. This was another book I loved. Okay, I rated this book 5 stars. It's insane to me how many books I rated 5 stars in February, how many books I've rated 5 stars in the year of 2024. Like, it's, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to go ahead and pop up on the screen here a screenshot of my Goodreads ratings for 2024, because I want you guys to see this. I want you to see the amount of 5 stars in relation to everything else. Like, I am seriously doing something right now. I don't know what it is. I honestly attribute it to DNFing because it gives me so much more time to focus on the things that I'm going to like, you know, and I quit the rest. This was kind of like an impulse read, impulse borrow from my library. I seen that title and I was like, what is this book going to be about? I didn't honestly know what to expect from this one, but it was very enlightening. So this book is written by somebody who owns an indie bookshop. He had so much like real experience and knowledge to share. I get so like doom and gloom when I think about book selling and the long-term life of like books and the publishing industry and books being sold, like physical copies of books being sold. And this book, I love it because it gave me so much hope for the future of the publishing industry and book selling in general. Very eye-opening sections, very inclusive sections about the whiteness of the publishing world, white authors being pushed over Black authors and authors of color. Very interesting conversation in this book around book selling on Amazon, which I really enjoyed. Overall, if you guys find yourself interested in publishing and the world of book selling, I think that this is a very good read, and like I said, I rated this one 5 stars, really enjoyed it. The next book I read is Dead Silence by 𝚲𝚃𝚃𝙷, and this is one of the books that's like the 15 backlist books I want to read in 2024. This is the first one of that list that I get to check off. I liked this book, okay? So I ended up rating this book 3 stars. I would say it's a high 3-star. I liked it. There's nothing huge that I can say that I did not like about it, but I think the one thing that fell through for me was that I listened to this book in the audiobook format, and I don't know if I know that I did not love the narration style of this audiobook narrator. I think what it was with the narration was sometimes this main character was very angsty and had a lot of like things going on in her head, like a lot of melodramatic monologuing, right? And she also had like a little bit of a pining fling relationship with this other character. And sometimes the way that the audiobook narrator was reading these portions was just, it was so over the top, and I almost feel like if I had read it physically, I don't know if it would have come across as over the top and like over dramatic. I think that was really just the way that the narrator was reading these portions. I would read more from this author in the future, and it definitely gets me excited about reading more science fiction in the future as well. And the final book that I read in February that I have to talk about is Fixation: How to Have Stuff Without Breaking the Planet by Sandra Goldmark. I rated this book 4 stars, and this one was incredibly impactful. It really shifted my mindset. How our overconsumption is causing a ton of damage to our planet Earth. The rate at which we are consuming is not sustainable. This book really hit home for me. In particular, the notes about donating to secondhand stores, because my entire life I have been an avid like thrift shopper. We did not have money growing up, and all of our clothes was bought from Goodwill and Savers and thrift stores. Now as an adult, I've done better for myself than where I came from. And as I have done better for myself, I've really started to consume and overconsume and buy things new, buy fast fashion, and buy a ton of things I don't need. And while yes, I am still donating, the rate at which I am buying things new is ridiculous. And this book really hit me hard because there was a quote in here about, it was either in here or I've been watching a ton of videos lately on sustainability. And there was a quote either in this book or that I heard about how only 10% of the things that we donate to thrift stores are actually bought and, you know, given a second life. and the rest of that ends up in landfills. And one point that this author really hit home in this book was how donating alone does not close the loop. And this was a new term to me. Unless you are buying secondhand, just donating isn't really enough. We recently went and did a ton of spring cleaning. I went through every room of our house in the basement and had several huge boxes of things to donate to Goodwill, which really put into perspective the emphasis on reducing the amount that we buy, okay? I need to start there because there's so many things I bought that I wish I hadn't. Those things might end up in landfills, so it's like just trash, and it's really unfortunate. This book felt like a bucket of ice cold water being poured over my head, and I need to read books like this more often, and I definitely plan to. I've been watching a lot of YouTubers who are focused on sustainability and talking about our overconsumption, and that has been having such an impact on me, getting away from some of the things that I used to watch a lot of, like haul videos. Oh my gosh, you guys, I got obsessed with a certain site last year that I don't even want to say the name of, okay? I don't want to give them publicity, but I got obsessed with this certain fast fashion brand and was buying. And I got obsessed with watching haul videos. It just fed into me wanting more and buying more because I was watching what everyone else was getting and I was getting so caught up in it, you know? And I think that is a big thing as well. It's like, what are you watching? What are the things that you are watching? What is the people in your life and what are they doing? I mean, that has impact on you, you know? And if everybody in your life that you are watching is encouraging you to buy new, buy more, get bigger, get more, that's what you're gonna do. And it's not sustainable, and I am shifting away from that. I'm shifting away from that mindset. I am shifting away from those outputs, feeding that information down to me, and I am making a change, okay? That is all of the books that I have to talk about that I read in February. I did actually DNF quite a few books in February, so if you guys are interested in hearing about a few more books that I tried to read in February, but you know, they were not working for me and I decided to quit them, I would recommend that you guys go ahead and watch this video next. In this video, I talk about one of my biggest challenges of 2024, in which I am attempting to read my entire physical TBR down to 0 this year. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.